All right, everybody. Hello, my name's Dan. I'm Louise's fiance. So I know Louise had many of you guessing in terms of what was going to be happening today. So I don't know if you were expecting a three-piece jazz band or not, but that is the fun and funeral. Good job, Louise. Way to pull everything together on that. And also, thank you, Larry, your three talented daughters, for adding the fun to funeral. And we look forward to hearing what else you have in store for us. You know, Mom would have loved it. She wasn't much for funeral type activities, but a funeral, I think she could live with. So I know that she is looking down upon us and smiling as we gather here today to celebrate her life. And we thank you all for coming and celebrating with us. Although I didn't know Charles Her husband of 41 years, I was told he probably would be shaking his head right now and saying, I failed to see the humor in it. So again, thank you all for have joined us to celebrate Mom, second mom, Ruthette, Mrs. Crane, and known as Rudy, to many of her siblings and extended family. We appreciate all of you who have traveled miles to get here to be with us here today, and always loving Mom and her children, no matter how far away that her children or herself was away from them. We have three very special speakers today to honor Mom, sharing their fond memories and what Mom meant to them. I know many of you have a story too, or an anecdote about Mom, and we welcome you to share these during the luncheon that will follow the service here at the cemetery, and the luncheon will be held at Renditions Golf Club, and the information and address is in the brochure that was given to you. Our first person to speak today is the first grandchild, Chuck Dennis, known to many as Little Chucky, and of course he's not so little anymore. So with that, Chucky, come on up.
All right, also one of the low talkers, so I'm going to try to project a little bit. All right, first I want to thank everybody for traveling far and wide to be here today. It's good to see a lot of faces, a lot of familiar faces. I know it's been a tough couple of years. It's a big blessing that we can actually be all assembled here today. This is really nice, all things considered. Look forward to catching up with all of you afterward, for those of you who can make it to Renditions afterward. Fondest memories growing up, we're at Grandma's house in Ocean Pines. She lived a few miles from my home, where I spent the first 9-10 years of my life. Grandma was like my mom and dad's secondary caregiver, so I spent a lot of time over there. Spent a lot of time in Aurora Court playing piano, gardening, baking gingerbread cookies, all sorts of things together. It was a really good time. Like all grandmas, Grandma Crane was really good at spoiling me and ignoring all the requests of parents when it came to sugar and computer time. She was never short of having a variety of snacks, untraditional foods, sweets on hand. Probably a huge influence on my sweet tooth, developing at an early age. Thanks, Grandma. The nights I spent at Grandma's house were never turned in early nights. I played Game Boy, computer games, all manner of things. Got away with it until my eyes were hurting. Not much has changed these days. Thanks again, Grandma. Taught me to find the humor and entertainment in just the small, simple things in life. It was really a nice thing. She had endless entertainment, watching her dog watch TV, thinking that the animal was in the room with us. She'd always have Animal Planet playing on the TV, and the dog would run up and down the steps repeatedly. That was a really fun thing. So the dog would think that she was trying to catch the elephant or tiger on TV, and so I think she purposely kept it on to keep Grandpa just kind of on his toes. I'll remember Grandma's impressions of Julia Child, watching her cooking shows, trying to mimic the recipes and the ingredients, and she'd always leave one out or sub one out. I'll miss the tradition of New Year's. We drink ice cream sodas. Drink ice cream sodas, black straws, go outside and clank pots and pans at midnight and spinning noisemakers, just so that everybody in the neighborhood knew what day it was, just in case they forgot. You always knew you were going to have a good time when you went over to Grandma's for the day or spent the night. In my younger years, she'd always comfort me with a story before bed, medley of songs or back scratches to help me sleep. Sometimes all the above, because she had to wind me down from all that sugar she supplied the entire day. When she would sing, "How much is that dog in the window?" I always had the barking parts. It probably seemed...
close.
Just two. It probably seemed easier to her. It still astonishes me to this day. Her energy in keeping up with an energetic, overstimulated young boy no less, was seemingly endless. Trips to Assateague Island Beach were often frequent with Grandma. You'd spend the entire day and well into the late afternoon, hanging out at the beach, the ponies, all to yourself. Best time of the beach day, if you ask me. She was a woman full of life lessons. Maybe that's something I should not brag about, but I'm glad to this day I still master from Grandma the outdoor parking lot pee method, and to look out for others too. This came in handy in those late beach evenings in the parking lot of Assateague before we started to stretch back to Ocean Pine. Just couldn't make it in time. It was 20 minutes, that's not me, is it? That's me. Nope. A little busy.
She's calling you.
Hey, no. Grandma Crane understood the important impact of, I skipped ahead. This came in handy in those late beach evenings in the parking lot of Assateague before I started the Ocean Ponds. As a lookout, I learned a life lesson: always be around your surroundings, always be aware. Grandma Crane understood the impact of being a positive force and how effortlessly she made it seem. Everyone knew Grandma. Spending time with her was always full of laughter. It was a really fun time. Every time, might not have been the most appropriate for humor, but she always found a way to make you smile. She was always whip smart, always cheer you up with a well-placed joke, if she could remember the punchline. Silly anecdote, maybe even an old tune you never heard before. These times might not times where a joke or a song is relevant to the situation, but the positive outlook and humor always seemed to lighten up the mood, always seemed to land. However, there were more times often than not where I and the other grandchildren would have to respond with, like, Grandma, that was crude. The disappointing shake of the head. If Lauren and Ben were here today, they'd be shaking their head in agreement right now. She was a living embodiment of placing positivity out into the world and seeing it reflected in return to others as well, anyone she interacted with. Friend or stranger, she was always a giving person, never thought twice about it. You always knew what to expect with her. She's a vital part of my life and who I am now. I've got her to thank for all the time and resources she contributed and shaped me into a somewhat creative person. I got a little bit of it from her. Her love for art and creativity fueled a lot of my hobbies and interests, most of them, the same ones I still have today. And at some point were fostered by her care and support and her passion for the arts. She's a major driving force in my life, how I should attempt to conduct myself. Grandma Crane, Rudy to some here, never took anything too seriously, lived a full life as a result. I've been honored to call her my grandma, be her grandson, her Chucky, her little doggy in the window. And now to lighten the mood a little bit. Stonehouse Brass Band, Fly Me to the Moon. Tony Bennett was her favorite. Off to you guys.
And you're welcome to sing along if you know
to make yourself known. Albert and Evelyn Baining raised all 9 of the Baining children to do just that, each with their own special talents to display to the world. Ruthette Baining Crane, better known as Rudy, was the 6th born, and she definitely made her mark in our world. Her siblings, Bill and Connie, can now carry those talents forward. In the early years, the Bainings moved several times, including to Catonsville, Maryland, where Rudy's mom displayed her culinary skills at the old Candlelight Inn restaurant. The culinary skills were passed down to Rudy. She also was a very talented artist, quilting expert, piano player, seamstress, hostess, tennis player, mother, and a loyal friend with a witty sense of humor. Rudy married Charles Crane, a professor at the Naval Academy, and they made their home in Annapolis, where they raised their children, Charlene, Larry, and Louise. When I was dating Rudy's brother, Ralph, he took me to their home to meet some of the family. I noticed Rudy was cutting her eyes over to me. That was her terminology. She must have been deciding if I would be an appropriate mate for her baby brother. At that time, Charlene and Larry were just little tykes. When Charles left for a sabbatical in England, the Baining clan descended on the Annapolis home to bid farewell to Rudy the night before she and the kids were to leave and join Charles in England. She had packed neatly and cleaned the house, but I do believe we destroyed the entire organization and partied into the night in typical Baining style. When they returned, Louise had been born in England, and there are still some rumors around that one of the famous Beatles may have played a role in her birth. Always ready for the next adventure. One time, Ralph and I joined Rudy and Charles for a lecture by Gloria Steinem at the Naval Academy. Gloria was a proponent of the women's liberation movement. Rudy and I were so inspired that we decided to go out for a drink afterward without our spouses, only to realize neither one of us had any money. Always resourceful, she borrowed from Charlene's piggy bank, and we had a celebratory drink as liberated women. We had a friend with a beautiful sailboat on the Severn River who invited us for a sail. Since I couldn't go that day, Ralph took Rudy. It was a cold and windy trip when Rudy took off her shoes and sprinkled pepper on her feet to keep them warm. The pepper also decorated the whole sailboat. She called me before Ralph got home to say he was so angry with her. She said, "I don't understand. It wasn't like I put pepper on my Weezer." When my family vacationed in Bethany Beach, Rudy came over to join in, bringing Louise's son, little Chucky. Many times Rudy took him to Assateague Island to swim and see the ponies, and I know Chucky has also many stories of his trips there and the tricks Grandma taught him. My family knew and loved Rudy and all the Bainings, and also got to know little Chucky too. One day she came to our condo with plastic bags and decided we all need to go blueberry picking with her, so we did. Best blueberries ever. My sister Teresa, who's with me here today, joined in on many adventures with Rudy. We knew a good time was ahead when we would meet. One super hot weekend, Rudy, Charles, and the children visited Ralph and me at our shore on the Elk River in northeast Maryland. We had a tiny cottage, so they brought their pop-up camper and set up next to our cottage. We had a great time swimming, sailing, and canoeing. Since their new tiny kitty cat, Lamont, also came along, it was better for the kitty to sleep in our also hot cottage. The cat slept on my head in my very long hair all night. Rudy had worked in the Maryland legislative offices in Annapolis with her good friend Frances Maney. Being of like personalities, I know they livened those halls with their antics. I heard Frances tap danced her way through the hallowed halls on more than one occasion. They came to Baltimore one evening, and I met them in Fells Point for a refreshment. And we later went to the shabby apartment of one of the legislators, who will remain unnamed. I'll never tell, but we girls had a wonderful time. Rudy loved all three of her grandchildren and enjoyed being with them. Louise's son, Chucky, Larry and Jane's daughter, Lauren, now living in California, and son, Ben, now on a school year abroad in Spain. She had mentioned to me through the years that she would send them a little check from time to time. She called it a little carrot, which is to persuade them to do or not do something by offering a reward. I think that carried over to her little granddog, Chessie, who is Louise and Dan's little doggie. Rudy and Chessie loved each other, and every time they were together, She fed Chessie carrots. Louise says Chessie is now a vegetarian dog. Phone conversations between Rudy and me were almost every day, and if she had family stories to tell, she'd introduce herself as Nosy Rosie or the Village Yenta. Sometimes she would refer to the outside world, saying, "They're all crazy." I'm sure she wasn't referring to family. If she called asking for guidance from the Lord above, she told me to get out my mother's Catholic rosary beads. As the years moved on, we shared many times together. She was a rock for me when Ralph became paralyzed from a skiing accident, and a fun person to be with, whether in person or on the phone. The last few years were a challenge for her, with Larry living in Georgia, Charlene in Maine. Louise moved Rudy close to her in South Carolina, and what a blessing that was. Louise was able to help her when she became more frail. Louise furnished, decorated, and moved her into a beautiful apartment at the Vineyard, along with her recliner chair, which she previously named her big fat ass chair. However, Rudy was unable to be on her own. Louise was with her around the clock, sleeping in the recliner near her mom. Dan would bring coffee and a snack for Rudy and try to encourage her to get better. When Rudy was hospitalized for a few weeks, Larry was able to stay with her in the hospital. In her last days under hospice care, she was with all of her family around her in a condo with a beautiful beach view to view the ocean. There are so many, many stories that we all have about Rudy. For years, I told her she should write a book about her life and the wonderful adventures she had. She was one of a kind. It doesn't always happen in life that we gain friendships and love that endure and become even stronger through the years. That's what I was blessed to have with my dearest sister-in-law and wonderful forever friend, Rudy. And I can't sing, so it's up to Dan.
Well, thank you, Aunt Mary. Thank you for those words of love. We come the farthest in terms of miles and distance to be here with us, and was the first apple of Rudy and Charles's eye, daughter Charlene.
Good to see everybody's beautiful face, and more than half of you I think I've never met, but it's amazing. It's like typical of my mom to have many, many people in her life and to connect. It's just like she was a connector. Most gregarious person probably you might ever meet. I don't have too many stories for you, but I'm going to say that our mom, in her most lighthearted and inspired moments, she spoke of wanting to teach art classes to children, something she had a very natural, innate talent for, as those of us participants in her early 1970s held Baldridge Road Recreation Room clay sculpture classes may well remember. While Mom may not have lived her very best life over the past few years or seen all her dearest and highest dreams fulfilled, in spite of all her oppressive maladies and numerous health challenges, she never once failed in maintaining her loyalty, her devotion, and her unwavering support and love for all of her family members and friends. About a month or so ago, I realized I had to stop telling those Rudy and John stories. John was the man that she lived with for the last 20 years, who was a blessing and a sort of a blessing curse in the end. Because in the heels of talking about that and gossiping with various people, I would get these phone calls pretty soon after. It was pretty clear, direct relationship, and they were calls from numbers that, if I called them back, I got the recording. This number is no longer in service. And this didn't just happen on one or two occasions, but happened many times over the course of a week. You can have different numbers, not the same number. It wasn't like it was a computer-generated thing. So, if that's not a mystical message from heaven or beyond the veil that somebody's reaching out and trying to say, hey, I got you. I'm here. I hear you. And it really made sense to me, being that she was our relationship was mostly over the phone the last few years, me being up in Maine and her being in where she's South Carolina. So that made a lot of sense. Okay, call me by the phone. I have a song that Mom loved that I wanted to have everybody sing, but maybe we sing it at the reception or something because it's not all collected. The papers are here and some of them collated and some of them not. So we'll do it later. But she loved the song "What a Wonderful World," and I hope you'll sing it with me.
Oh, yeah.
That was her favorite. If that song didn't bring her in, nothing would. So thank you all again for coming. It's amazing to see you all here. And, wow, what a gift! What a gift.
Yeah.
Is there anything that happens? No. Well, I want to show something real quick. Everybody knows Mom really well as far as her smile goes. Yes. So we had this done, a smile like the sunshine.
No.
Oh, that's nice. Everybody, I think she had a very distinct smile, and it
And
definitely.
we're going to put a couple beads in there, I believe.
That's right.
And the best laugh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
Not,
did.
that was we were like, even if you had no idea what we were laughing at. You just laugh along. All right. Nice to see you again, sir.
Louise.
She fit?
She said move over.
What's that?
She said move over.
She said move over. And don't cough while you're in there, Charles.
Yeah. Oh, Smokey the Bear.
Okay, so at least now, physically on this earth, right now, right here, Rudy and Charles are reunited once again. So after many years here physically, but of course more recently spiritually, they were reunited. So in closing, again on behalf of the family, thank you again for coming and your support and valuable friendships to Rudy, Charles, and everyone involved throughout the years. So thank you all so much. So to close out this funeral, we will have the Stonehouse Brass Band lead us out in song and dance. We look forward to continuing the celebration of Rudy at the luncheon, which starts at 12:30. The banquet room will open at 12:15. Take it away, Larry, and the Stonehouse Band.
you pass the road. Oh, it's beautiful.
Gets runny over
You need to help.
That's fine.
Thing it said burial, it said question mark, wherever. And I was like, you know, and we even asked her several times, I said, Mom, come on, you gotta tell us, like, what are we supposed to do? Never like, put me anywhere, I don't care. So that's kind of where the funeral came about, because we didn't know what to do, and Mom wouldn't want a funeral. So one of the other things she had in there was, if there was any money left, have a gentle party. This is the gentle party. I have no clue what a gentle party is, but I guess this is pretty gentle. No one's dancing on the table. Sorry, there was no alcohol, so we're all gentle. So my ha-ha moment. So again, she didn't leave very much, but this is her other purple daughter over here. You know, every purple person has to have the when I'm old, when I'm old woman. So Margaret, that's for you.
That made me do that.
Yeah, Margaret loved purple probably more than I did. I mean, like, Mom had purple curtains, like, everything was purple. I really didn't own purple until recently. I found one other little thing, so again, there wasn't much left, so Chucky, you needed to have this. It's a New Orleans Bourbon Street apron. So Mom loved New Orleans. They even considered moving there at one point. So that's kind of where the New Orleans funeral came about. When Chucky was 21, he got taken to New Orleans with Mom and Pinocchio, as we call the significant other now. So we go to New Orleans, you know, Chucky's 21, and we go to the, what's it called, the Jazz Festival?
Jazz Fest.
The Jazz Festival.
We went everywhere, but yeah.
As Chucky said, there was sometimes inappropriate moments where you say, Grandma, no. Well, one of those was going down Bourbon Street when they were throwing out beads. We kind of thought the top was going to go up, and Chucky said, Grandma, no. I can't unlift that.
No. You're like, yeah.
So that was our Rudy and my mom, right? I think that's all the goodies I have. But I want to take this time, anybody else want to come say any remarks or add some things, any stories that you might have, you're welcome to come up now. or if you want to speak from your seat, if you feel more comfortable.
We have a hand up over here.
What's that?
Kennedy, can you tell us what you said about the fun roll? Maybe your mom can help you out.
Was she turned?
To Tim when we were at the service and said, Daddy, why can't everyone do this way? There's no cheers. So, all right, Annie, come on.
You know.
Come on, purple daughter.
Again. I owe some of my best memories growing up being Louise's friend and going to her house and just laughing and hanging out with Ruthette. And we had so many inside jokes. Like Mary Hartman, do you remember that soap opera? Oh my God. So she and I, we watched that together. And if Louise got sick, I had to come home from school with her. And if I got sick, Ruthette would come and pick me up because my mom was a teacher. And I mean, she would have these color scheme snacks.
Yeah.
So like it would be like an orange.
teacher remembers
It would
that.
be an orange day. So you'd have Cheetos and carrots and little cheddar squares. Be all orange, and you just never knew. But you knew when you walked in the door, you were gonna get greeted with that fabulous smile and some good snacks.
And fun.
And
laughs.
fun. And the only thing I remember is, we took her to Mike's Crab House, and we were,
I think it was Campers.
Cantler, and we were eating and drinking beers and stuff. And
But I think we were 16.
this is not.
Hey, was that illegal though?
No, we didn't even make the 18-year-old age. So I think we were 16.
So
and Mom was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're old enough. Okay.
So we shared that Louise and I sitting in the back of the cello section, 7th and 8th chair, respectfully. Matisse was always up front. And we told Ruthette in our beer buzz, we were like, oh, we're not really playing back there. We're just faking it. Even Miss North tells us not to play.
I couldn't even read the music. Like the high notes, I just went like this. And
we were good at faking.
my senior year, these guys all went and did something else, and I became first chair, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know how to play.
What to do?
So Ruthette promptly, as only Ruthette could do, says, that's okay, I slept through all your concerts. So she never missed a beat with that. And, I just am grateful for her loving me and being a part of my life, and my friendship with you and your family, and just look forward to seeing it grow. And I know Ruthette is right here, right now. When I
Thank you, Mark.
I don't even know if I need that, but having you all here just in terms of family, friends from childhood, new friends, everybody. I mean, it's such a blessing to have everybody here today as we celebrate Rudy, Mom. Right from the get-go, when me and Lise met and I met Ruthette for the very first time, I mean, we just hit it off and connected right away. She started calling me, said, I mean, this is second mom, and so forth. And we just had an immediate connection. And she was a whippersnapper, man.
Yeah.
She would tell you exactly what she felt, when she felt it. Didn't matter, no filter. She would let you know exactly what was happening and what was going on. So it's very, very comforting, and I'm very happy to see all you all here today to show support to Louise and Ruthette. So thank you for that. Had a great time. At the end, as we were going through everything, I was working very hard to try and keep her motivated and her spirits up, and she did very good. Man. She was going through a lot of stuff, and she was a fighter. She was a fighter, and she was doing very good. And I would come in, Louise would be over there once we made the move from Hardyville to the assisted living place, and we would be, Louise would be there. I would come in and out with different things and doing certain things. And I would walk in the door, and I could hear her say, "Hey, Dan, what's up, man?" Just like that, you know. "What's up, man? What are you doing?" You know, and that's what she would do. And so, I mean, she was a fighter, and we thought that, you know, we would be able to get over the hump, and for her to enjoy her time there, but that's not what worked out. And so, but all the way up until the end, it was, you know, she was fighting, and she was pretty much in good spirits the whole time, and she understood what was going on and what was happening, and still maintained a positive attitude and everything. So once again, I just want to thank you for being here and showing your support. So thank you very much.
Thank you to hear this, but Mom had a distinct voice, and this is a really appropriate one for those of you who joined us for our New Year's Zoom celebration.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mom was in rehab, not that kind of rehab. She probably should have been, but so she was in her physical rehab because she'd been in the hospital, and we surprised her, and we didn't tell her that all these people were going to be joining, and so lots of family and cousins and everybody joined. We wish we recorded that because we had no clue that would be one of our last really big moments with her, but. So she didn't know, she knew we were coming, but she didn't know we were doing the surprise Zoom. So this is one of the messages I had from the rehab. Let me see if you'll be able to hear it. We shouldn't reveal that kind of stuff, but come on. That was so She would be in this rehab place, and she'd say, "They don't want me to get out of bed. They want me to piss my pants. So I'm just going to piss my pants." So there's a lot of underwear that you need to do. All right, Charlene, were you ready? Oh, Heidi, you want to say something?
Oh, that's okay.
But you can go afterward. Come on up.
All right. Heidi, and I'm the oldest daughter of Aunt Charlotte, who is one of Aunt Rudy's older sisters. And anyway, I think my mom, Aunt Charlotte, used to use her as a babysitting service every now and then. So when she lived on the outside gate of the academy, Mom dropped me off. Now, were you with me? Ruthie, my sister Ruthie was with me. I don't know how old we were, 12 or 13. She said, "I have a movie you have to see." She took us to see Psycho. Honestly, I did not take a shower for at least 3 years. Now, I did bathe, but I didn't take a shower. And then when I started to, I left the shower curtain open. So anyway, that's one of my memories. I have a lot. Some I can't tell you. But anyway, she was a hoot, and we loved her.
Louise Armstrong.
She's afraid. I see them blue. What we do, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed days, dancing nights, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so smiles, all stolen faces, people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying how do you do. They're saying I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more. I know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself.